So, I wanted to talk about what the Treehouse Principle actually is. I've been creating a fair bit of content, especially more in the vlog style um, vein, but I have not had a chance to really dive into more of this conversational piece with you, and that's what I'm about to start doing, especially now that my voice has recovered. I'm very excited to say I'm getting the power back in my voice. If you have been following along, or even if you haven't, you can check out some of my other videos that I have created that spoke about me needing to have yet again another surgery. So, just a little backstory for those of you who are new to the channel or new to me, that sort of thing, you don't know my history. I am a two-time cancer journeyer. Yes, I had breast cancer in 2012 and then again in 2016. So I went through the surgeries and the treatments and lost my hair, all the whole 9 yards. So there was a lot of the identity shifts that I had to go through, a lot of the narratives that I had to overcome throughout the last, well, at this point, 10 years. I'll be 10 years NED, which is no evidence of disease, as of May 9th. So I am certainly celebrating that this year, but I'm also celebrating my 50th year. I will be turning 50 in August, and that's a huge milestone for me. I didn't even know if I was going to make it to my 40th. I was initially diagnosed when I was 36, which is extremely young, and I was a single mom at the time as well. So a lot of fear, a lot of narratives. And so I did write my very first book about those two-time cancer journeys called No Baby Pigeons, which a lot of you have purchased off of Amazon, and it is still there on Amazon for purchase. And I just really hope it does help a lot of you going through your own journey. But it is a lot about the mindset piece. It's about what I call thought wellness. And so I really did want to move forward from that. So I think the importance of, talking through the trauma that you've been through is crucial for healing, what I call the reveal phase. But then there comes the release phase. The release being the letting go, the being able to reframe the narratives and move forward in the new normal, the new identity. And that comes with a lot of narrative, adjustment, and it comes with a lot of fear conversations with yourself. So revealing those fear narratives to yourself, and then releasing them to reframe them, and so we can move forward from fear. And that's one of the other things I talk a lot about in that first book. This second book and the whole framework, the whole rebranding that I've done in my business as a crisis to creation coach is called the Treehouse Principle. That is more about the creation piece, the creation beyond the crisis, as I call it, because it's all about cracking our crisis codes or survival modes and then activating the creative modes. And so the creative mode simply just being back into the joy and the wonder and the play that we innately had as kids, and imagination. We have no idea sometimes how powerful our imagination truly is in the healing journey, especially going through traumatic experiences and especially navigating beyond the crisis, as I call it. So I talk a lot about how crisis cracks us open, and how with that we can look at crisis as being the catalyst for change, which is huge. This is a huge narrative shift, right? Because a lot of us will stay stuck in that survival state, which doesn't allow us to move beyond that particular phase in our life. And it doesn't allow us to navigate into more of the joy and the play and those pieces of ourselves that we get to not only reclaim but redefine. So that's the third component of my Treehouse Principle framework, is the redefine. And we want to redefine what our reality is going to look like beyond the crisis. And so This whole concept of the treehouse came to me last January as I was on a walk, and I was just simply thinking a lot about the power of our imagination and the power of mindset. I've been doing a lot of inner work and a lot of tapping into the neuroscience behind how we are able to heal through various, understanding how our brain really works. And so the science piece really fascinated me. I'm a big nerd, and I love the science piece. So I wanted to figure out what that truly meant to me, and I did some courses. I also did some training on the trauma informed piece, and figured out how to truly understand how to articulate that the best. And I knew that my gift is through writing, and so I wanted to create this whole concept around the treehouse, where it was essentially, a framework, but also a safe space, like an inner sanctuary where we can return to, or we can go to find the restoration, the peace, the sanity, all of those things. We rise above the crisis, and we are again in a global crisis. I do talk about that in this book, The Treehouse Principle. I talk about how, at any stage in our life, we can go through, individual crises or a global crisis, and COVID being a big global crisis for our generation, of course. Obviously, there are other generations that have dealt with various other crises. So I don't speak to those pieces. I speak to more of what I have gone through in my own experience, but also what we can go through collectively. And so one of the things that I really wanted to emphasize is the importance of understanding just how powerful our imagination is, and that how we can create our reality beyond the crisis through imagination. So that's what the Treehouse Principle is a lot, is about, is tapping back into that play and the wonder and the creation in our imagination to truly understand how powerful we are as creative beings. And that's extremely exciting. Now, I know there's been a lot of people that are like, what is this Jen Farr doing? This is not the Jen Farr I'm used to. I get it. And I certainly have learned to understand and tap into more of who I am becoming and who I've become beyond all of the things that I've gone through and all of the things that I've learned. But one of the things I will say is that I am here standing with you in the thick of the crisis, but also showing you a better way, showing you that guide, that map back into your treehouse, into your inner sanctuary, where not only can you create again, but you can learn how to feel safe again. So you can rise above the noise. So here we talk about rising above the noise. I talk a lot about the overview effect. We just experienced one of the most amazing things for humanity, going to around the moon and going a lot further than any other human has gone before with the Artemis 2 crew. So they had the experience of the overview effect. And the overview effect is essentially getting that expansive, sort of the bird's eye view, if you will, of life and the world and truly who we are as human beings. And not only how fragile we are, but how powerful we really are as well. We do have the power to create, but we also have the power to destroy. And that doesn't just mean globally, that means individually. How many times have we had those narratives in our head that tell us that we're not necessarily capable of doing a certain thing? I don't know how many times I've gone through the narratives myself as I've created this content for you. Why am I showing up doing this? Who am I to say these things? Well, I can tell you right now, I have, first of all, put that voice to bed, because I know that it's only there to protect me. That's what our nervous systems and our brains are wired and designed to do. They're there to protect us. It's a safety net, right? So When I can look at it that way, and when we can look at it that way, then we start to recognize, whoa, okay, so they're just trying to be there as a safety net, trying to help us to understand that, whoa, this is a new way of being, this is a new way of creating, and are you sure that this is safe? Are you sure that you're ready to do this? And you can then once again say to that, to the nervous system, to the brain, I'm safe. I am capable of doing this, and I'm going to move forward. I no longer want to play small and continue to stay silent. I want to reach out to other people, and I want to heal, and I also want to help others heal. That's truly what we're here on this earth to do. We're here to be a community. We're here to be a collective, powerful state of love and appreciation for one another, and teaching one another and guiding one another. And when we go through these things, this is where we have an opportunity and maybe a responsibility even, I would say, to show up for others and stand with them or sit with them and guide them through and navigate them through what they're going through. So that's exactly what I wanted to speak about today, was just giving you a whole understanding of what the Treehouse Principle is truly about. I talk a lot about the neuroscience piece as well, in terms of understanding just how powerful our brains really are, and again, as I said, how they're wired for safety, so they will speak these narratives to ourselves, but sometimes we just don't understand that. And so it's just about having an understanding of what our brains and our nervous systems are trying to do, but then also being able to tap into that powerful creative side of you that has always existed. It's just been it's been packed down a little bit, and it's been packed down, but it's also been silenced. And that can be through generational trauma, that can be through crisis trauma, that can be through any number of things that you come up against and you feel overwhelmed. The last thing I would talk about as well is the importance of finding the stillness and the rest and the slow living. I'm seeing a lot these days of content that is speaking to the importance of tapping into the slowness and the stillness and the rest. There's a reason for that, guys. There's a reason for that, because globally, again, as I said, we're in a crisis and we're overwhelmed, not just by the day-to-day things even, but all of the things that are coming at us individually and in our families. And then we have the global crisis on top of things. No wonder our nervous systems are in fight or flight mode. So the importance of being able to, as I said, take that overview effect and the observer effect. That's another piece I talk about, is observing our thoughts. And what are our thoughts trying to either teach us or tell us or warn us of? So there's a number of things, and that's about getting educated in your own thoughts. So being kinder to yourself as well as you're navigating these things, and that you're trying to understand exactly what's happening, and being able to perceive things differently. I quote Wayne Dyer a lot, actually, in both my books. And one of my most favorite quotes by him is, if we change the way we look at things, the things that we look at change. And it is so true. So think about that perspective. Think about how you're able to reprogram your thoughts for much more loving and kindness and creative thoughts. And that is some of the first steps to being able to move beyond the crisis piece. Again, we want to move through it. We don't want to push it or punish it or try to crush through it. That is not the intent. The intent is to reveal it to ourselves. And that might take time. So that might be a slow process. But it's not about your timeline, really, or anybody else's timeline. That's been a very big thing for me to learn. Often I would feel like I should be there by now. And I was clearly not. Now, I definitely been, even just with this vocal surgery, and I had that to be 3 weeks ago, and I'm still kind of going through that trauma, if you will, body trauma, which has taught me that your body is still recognizing that it just went through another surgery, even though it was minor. Your body is saying it's time to rest. So I've been able to look at it and observe my thoughts from punishing or criticizing to more of the restorative and the patience and the love and the kindness, right? So I talk a lot about, instead of the criticism, we be creative. We're creative in our thoughts instead of critical. So that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. Finally telling you exactly what the Treehouse Principle is about. You've seen little blips, I think, along the way, but this is 100% what I am, the framework that I've created, but also this book that I've written for you guys, to help you to navigate back into that creative process, and also to tap back into that powerful self, that beautiful self, that creative being that you truly are, and the love, the powerful, powerful love that you have for yourself that you can tap back into, and then you can have for others again. That's the capacity. We have the capacity to help and heal others when we have the capacity to heal and help ourselves and love ourselves. So thank you so much again. I appreciate all the support. This channel is growing and I'm so grateful for that. And there will be more vlogs. I'm enjoying doing the vlog style videos. But if you have any other conversations that you want to start and you want to talk about, I would love to help create those videos around that. As I said before in another, my pivot versus punish video, which I will tag in this video, to talk about the importance of listening to our bodies when we're going through healing, and how we need to learn how to pivot instead of punish when our bodies say it's time for rest. And so things like that, I would love to talk to you more about what we can create together and what kind of content and conversations you guys want to have. So again, there are a lot more topics that I'm going to cover in the coming days and weeks. But for now, I thank you. I'm grateful for you, and thank you for supporting me. And we'll continue to create this thing together. See you in the next one.